We're with Superintendent of Russell Independent Schools, Sean Horne. And Sean, as we record this today, you were able to release that you were ranked 9th in the state and your ACT scores are up. So I'm just going to let you talk about the successes, how you reach these milestones, and the things you're going to continue to try to do.
As always, I want to thank you, Hank, for giving us the opportunity to talk a little bit about our school. So thank you and the Greenup Beacon folks to make that possible. Yeah, this has been a banner week for us. We've known for a little while, things have been embargoed, so we've kind of had to keep our, lips sealed, so to speak. But this is the first time that I know of since K-Prep has been the staple for our district as far as state assessment goes, that we have been able to crack into the top 10. And being a 9th ranked out of 173 school districts in the state of Kentucky is something to be very proud of.
Yes.
I cannot say enough about our staff and our administrators and our kids and our community being very supportive. Our Board of Education being very supportive and allowing things to roll out the way that they need to, and the countless hours in preparation. It kind of brings it all together, and we're really excited about it. Another thing that I'd like to mention, it's just really, if you take the time to look at the rankings, the top 10 school districts in the state of Kentucky, 8 of those top 10 are independent schools. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yes, and have been.
Yes. So our high school, just kind of real quickly run through the rankings. Our high school is a school of distinction, top 10% in the high schools. We were ranked 13th. Overall, really proud of them. Our middle school, distinguished middle school again. As you know, I put a lot of time in over there myself, and really proud of Mr. Moore and his staff keeping that thing going. I believe they were 60th overall out of 228 middle schools. Really proud of them. Our primary school was a distinguished primary school, and that pretty much encompassed our 3rd grade. And that was one of the reasons we wanted to make that change.
Right.
To get our 3rd, 4th, and 5th under the same umbrella so that they can, kind of meld and really do some great things. So it's going to be real interesting because next year will be our first time to receive a score at the elementary level.
Where they're put together.
Where they're put together. So I think that was a really great move on our part to get everybody under the same roof, following the same things, doing the same things. So I can't say enough. I mean, really, truly, man, it's been the ceiling is very high, and next year is going to be to keep it going. Keep it going, that's going to be a challenge. And the test scores is extremely important, and obviously that's why we're here. We're here to educate kids. But in the grand scheme of things, that's one piece that what we do every.
Well, the academic preparation is what's important.
Yes, and that's one piece of the puzzle.
Right.
But we got a lot of things rolling right now, and we're real excited about it. I mean, people are really doing a great job, and really look forward to seeing what we can do now that test scores are out.
Right.
We'll celebrate that a couple days, and
we'll we have to have a party.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your buildings.
Okay.
Anna Chafin is the high school principal, and Dave Kniff is the assistant. Now at the primary, you have a new principal, Philip Cassidy, who has been in. I guess you even played ball with Philip, didn't you?
Philip and I graduated together in '92.
And he's the principal. And now, does he have an assistant there?
He does, Leanne Kreger, Mayor Kreger's daughter.
That's that. I got that.
So pedigree's there.
That's right.
So real excited about that. Philip's doing a great job. As you know, anytime you take on a new position, even if you've been in that building for multiple years, when you become the lead principal, the lead administrator, the whole dynamic changes.
Right.
And he's really hit the ground running and trying to put his own stamp on it. It's done a really good job for us.
Great. Now, at the middle school, you have Sean Moore, and he has an assistant, Anthony Thompson's wife, but Stacy. Even though I've run stories on everybody, sometimes I can't remember your name. I call you Bob sometimes. And I've heard you call other things.
Oh, absolutely.
Too.
I've been called a lot worse, so
Yeah, I
Bob's
heard
not
that.
too bad.
And then, of course, Miss Wright, Pam Wright, went from the primary to the intermediate school
Yes.
when Heather Aldridge came to the board office.
Yes.
And she has an assistant that I have not met yet.
Stephen Branham. He was a teacher for us at the middle school. I actually was a part of the site-based council that hired Steve as a teacher. And Steve's really stepped up and proven himself in the classroom, and he wanted to get into administration, and he kind of waited his time, and an opportunity was there. And that's another thing that's different this year, Hank, that a lot of people really haven't thought a lot about is this is the first year since we've had everything in place that we have a principal and an assistant principal in each one of our buildings, and that's big.
Another thing that not everyone would know is you also have guidance counselors in each building, correct?
Yes, we have a guidance counselor in each building, and we're real excited about that. And then to take that a step further, this is the first year in every one of our buildings, and you know this, covering education for as long as you have, we have a physical education teacher, an art teacher, and a music teacher in every building in our district, and that's huge for a school our size.
Right.
And being a band guy yourself, and,
Right.
and with music and
It makes
the arts,
it so well-rounded.
it's important. And unfortunately, across the state right now, the trend is if areas are to be cut out of the curriculum, the arts take a hit everywhere you're at. And
So it's like California is volunteer band. There is no even though they do have some dynamic bands, it's not school sponsored anymore.
right, and that's something that's that I take a lot of pride in, because as small as we are, we really take a lot of pride on being balanced.
Right.
And really trying to find things that all of our kids can plug into. And, before we changed it, I'll use our physical education program. Before we changed that, our elementary physical education teacher was responsible for over 1,000 kids.
Right.
And, for us, physical activity and all the changes at the federal level, with nutrition and those sort of things, it was just a nice step for us to take to provide that and give those kids more time. And from the teacher's standpoint, by us having the special teachers in the building and providing those things for our kids, it really helped at the lower levels to provide planning time, more coverage with certain things, more assistance in the classroom, because there's a lot of collaboration going on there, and so it's been a really good thing for us.
Well, and if I'm correct, you have a library in every school?
We have a librarian in every school.
And people downplay that because of electronic media, but there's still something to be said for books.
Oh, well, absolutely. That's critical, and reading is such a large component. We're talking about assessment here.
Right.
Reading is such a large component, because if you really get right down to it, and like I share with my daughter all the time, reading
Gracie.
reading covers the entire spectrum.
Right.
So you need to be able to read to be successful in each one of the content areas.
Well, a lot of folks want to talk about the old days, but you still have to be able to add.
Mm-hmm.
This core curriculum kind of makes me smile a little bit, but you still have to be able to add, and you have to be able to read. They have diminished cursive writing as one of the things, and I really am not sure who had that brainchild, because I'm not confident in that one. But you have to do what.
That's another thing that I'm really proud of us as a district. Obviously we have mandates that come down from Frankfurt, that Common Core and different things of that nature. But our kids from kindergarten all the way through get a really strong base of those things. It has changed. I agree with you. Being a math teacher myself,
Right.
I agree 100%. 1 + 1 = 2. Any way you slice it.
Any way you can.
That we really, our teachers have really done a great job with being flexible, because not every kid is a great tester, or not every kid is a hands-on kid, and we try to find those areas that we can plug into for every kid to be successful in our district.
One of the real things that I feel is that Russell has embraced, and as long as I can remember, which was before you, we are a Renaissance education district. We try to make people have skills in many areas. We don't just try to have a high science score or a high math score. And I attribute that to leadership, and I think you've embraced that. But I also attribute that in part to the expectation of the parents for their children.
Well, I tell folks all the time, I stress to our administrators, when we make decisions, we've got, our community has changed quite a bit over the years, but our community is plugged into what we do every day with our kids. They know. And I tell our administrators all the time, when parents come and ask us questions, 9 times out of 10 they already know the answer.
Right.
And that keeps, and that's the way it should be.
Right.
Our parents, they deliver their kids to us every day to make sure that we can provide the best possible product for our kids, and our parents pushing us. I definitely look at that as a positive.
Well, and we have a safe environment, and we do everything we possibly can to keep them safe. I just think that it is a testament to dedication of your staff.
Yeah.
I think and while Sean doesn't like to be complimented, since I own the Greenup Beacon and this video, I am going to say that Sean has stepped in and has embraced keeping Russell good.
Well, being a graduate, being a Russell guy.
Once a devil, right?
Once a devil, always a devil.
Right.
It's not about me, but when your name is on something, you want to make sure it's
Right.
successful.
Right.
And we've been able to carry the torch. I can't take sole credit for that. Russell, as I tell folks all the time that ask me, how are you able to have these test scores, or
Right,
how are you able to provide these programs? I think myself, I go back and, I think of Jerry Blanchard,
Sure.
my high school principal,
Sure.
very solid. I think as one of my mentors, Scott Gross. Scott was hardcore and very structured, and this is the way we're going to. But I learned a lot from him. Mary Robinson. I followed her to middle school as an administrator, and she really helped me a whole lot. Ronnie Back. I was able to ask Ronnie a lot of questions coming through, and he always encouraged me to go into administration. So Russell has been, an extremely solid school district for a long, long time. And the one thing that I keep telling folks, and I sincerely believe this, when you've got a built-in expectation that's built in, that you don't need to sell or you don't need to advertise, when our little kids see the success of our older kids, it just kind of snowballs. Right. And that is a great thing for a superintendent, because each year, our kids come to school to learn and strive to be their best, and they know what past classes have done. I remember as a student, doing your best every day. It was not something that you just chose to do. I mean, you constantly had people there pushing and encouraging you.
Right.
And to be able to come back as superintendent and see a lot of those things kind of unfold on your watch is kind of nice. But another thing, and this goes all the way back to Mr. Perry, that was superintendent here. Our teachers right now, the latest data that came out, our teachers, as far as salary goes, is ranked 8th in the state as far as teacher salary. And one of the things back during his time is he put a lot of emphasis on taking care of our teachers and making sure that our teachers were well compensated and taken care of. And when you're dealing with finances, those things don't change. That just continues to build, and we're able to attract. Every year when we have vacancies, it's not unusual for us to have 45, 50, 60 applicants for a position. So that really puts us in a driver's seat to really take our time and make sure that we find people that
well, if you hire the best and pay them well, they stay with you.
Absolutely. And that's another thing, and I have 2 children in the district right now. By my kids to be able to see a lot of the same people year in and year out, just that alone,
there's a comfort level there.
It's going to have an impact on what our kids do.
Agreed.
And that's real exciting for me too. And that's what I'm hoping with our administrators. During my time, I have had the opportunity to be a part of the hiring of every administrator that we have in our building right now. Mm-hmm. And for a 3-year superintendent, that could be really, really good, or that could be really,
Really,
really bad.
right.
But what I hope that I've been able to do is I feel like we have high quality people in each one of those positions. And if everything goes right, and no health related, issues, or no
right,
emergency, just unexpected type things, we should have the core of our administrative staff together for the next 10, 15 years. And I think that, that's Russell's tradition too. We've really had a lot of stability over the years. And, I'm trying to keep all that intact, and I just think that's good for kids.
Great. Sean, we'll do this once a month for the rest of the school year. Thank you very much for being with us.
Again, Hank, I really appreciate your support of the school district and everything that you do to try to advance our programs, both academically and athletically. And I hope that we can continue to work together. And I really enjoy sitting down with you and being able to talk about the school district. So thank you.